There you are.
Yeah, we had a lot of problems as far as our computer went, so I'm just gonna do it on my phone here.
It seems okay on my end.
Yeah, it's definitely something on our end.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Because when I see myself really big and I see you in a corner, but when I've done these successfully in the past, when you speak, I see you big, but instead in these moments I'm seeing you still in the corner with a microphone. So I feel like you need to press something. Oh, and there's your mom.
Yes.
And now you're much bigger.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I
Hello.
So how are you doing?
I'm good. Okay, so I only see half of your mom.
Okay. No,
are we doing this through the um,
That's looking better.
it doesn't matter, Mom. He can. It doesn't matter.
am I there?
Yeah, you're there. I see you both.
Yeah,
Um, so hi. So this phone call is kind of serving as both hi, how are you? Nice to meet you kind of thing, where I ask Tony some questions, and then I also at some point um, wanted to talk to you, Janet, about Tony and maybe just get a clip we might use in a video when we have Tony speak at our event. Sound okay so far? Yeah, okay. Um, so, first of all, Tony, thanks for doing this with us. And we really appreciate it. And I've read through a lot of sections of your book, and I've read a lot of your interviews, and I'm really glad that we met you. I'm really glad. I guess we spotted you, right? Our Southern Regional Manager's wife saw you and signed you up to work with us. Do I have the story right?
Yes, that's correct. That's definitely correct. And I'm thrilled to work with the Family Equality Council as well.
Good. Is that a phone in front of you? Because I don't know if you need it, or is that part of the computer? It's something between you two?
This might be the wire. Is this it?
No, that you're holding up. Do you need that? Because I'm only talking to you through my computer. I'm not using my phone at all.
well, we may put the phone down and see what happens. Because we tried doing it through the phone, and
Yeah.
I hear you just as well.
Yeah.
okay, can you see us?
Oh yeah, I see you both.
Okay.
No. Did you just
Do
turn this?
you are you seeing me or are you seeing
Yeah.
Yes.
yourselves?
Yes. We can see you as well. Definitely.
Okay. All right, cool. Uh, I did have a couple questions about your story. If you don't mind my asking, then I guess you're used to personal questions now since you have put so much of your story into your book,
Okay.
into your memoir. But I wanted to ask, so your formal adoption was in 1995, yes?
That's correct.
And to which of your moms, or was it both moms who were, you know, who were able to adopt you then?
Mary filed the initial adoption, and both of them were granted legal custody and joint custody of me at that time, along with the adoption as well.
And were you considered a, um, there was no same-sex marriage at that time,
No,
right? So you were just both his both his parents, and you both had 100% custody at that point in 1995.
Not exactly. Mary did the adoption, uh, but she signed papers that let me do all the things that a parent would do, and we just did that because it was simpler at the time, given the
Right.
environment.
So Mary was on paper Tony's mom,
Yes.
but Janet, uh, on paper, you were not
No.
Tony's
No.
mom at that moment, right? Okay. And then there was an appeal, right? And it was by do I have it right? By the biological family?
Yes, it was by the biological family, but there are some caveats to that. Um, the appeal was by my biological mother, Colleen, as well as my biological father, Damon Lowe, and the appeal was also by my grandmother, who actually turned out not to be my biological grandmother. She's actually my step great aunt, and she filed an appeal as well.
Wow. And a judge actually did overturn the initial 1995 adoption and had some
Yeah.
really
Three
awful
judges.
things to say, correct?
Yes.
Three judges, actually.
Three judges.
Panel. Yeah.
So was it one of them who said that, it wasn't the right family for you because these were uh, gay women and white women?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow. God. Just devastating.
Yeah.
So at that point, I have in my notes that you were living with your moms 6 days a week and one night a week with your grandmother.
Yes, that's correct. The courts,
Who you thought your grandmother, step great aunt, you said.
yes, that's correct. And at that time, the courts ordered me to go to my step great aunt once a week. And at first, it was on a Saturday, and I would go there all day, and I would have overnight stays there. And then the next day, Janet or Mary would pick me up, and then we would go back home, and we would do the same thing the following week as well.
I'm so sorry. It's hard to even hear it. It just is so unfair.
Well, we persevered.
And yeah, your step great aunt was fairly vocal, yes, about how she felt that you belonged with. Do I have
Definitely.
that correct, Tony?
Yes, yes. She felt as though I was wrong to be placed with Mary and Janet. That one, they were a white family, and that as a black male, I shouldn't be with a white family. And two, they were a same-sex headed household, and that I shouldn't be placed with a same-sex headed household. And the three, I wasn't with my biological family, and then I needed to be with my biological family. And she was definitely
Right.
not shy about voicing that displeasure whenever I went over to visit.
Tony, did you ever live with either of your biological parents?
Not to my knowledge.
No, with
That
your
is,
mom. He lived with his mom when he was a baby. But
Before she gave him up for adoption?
well, she didn't give him up, which is the problem. He was taken from her and put into foster care. And she did not surrender her parental rights. She thought that she was going to get him back.
I see. Wow, it's quite a story. Well, I think I have a lot of those details now understood. Although, well, actually, can you just go to so how did it get resolved, Tony, that you ended up no longer staying one night a week with your grandmother,
over
your
time,
step great aunt?
over time, both sides, Mary and Janet as well as my grandmother, decided that I would no longer need to go to her house every weekend, and she eventually accepted in her own way that Mary and Janet were my parents, and I would just live with them pretty much 24/7. And basically, she just became more lenient. And not only did I not have to stay overnight, but I also didn't have to go every weekend anymore. And I would say I was about 10 or so when that process stopped. And after that time, I went primarily either every other week at first, and then eventually just on holidays when I was in high school.
Got it. Okay. Let's speak a little more. Uh, let's talk about things that are more positive now. So Tony, you've written this book, memoir. It's incredible. What a journey. Just to have written it itself is a huge accomplishment, let alone being so emotionally available and laying out the facts, which are just so unbelievable. Kind of had to be a book. You know, I saw one of your other interviews, and someone said, you know, why wasn't this a movie? And you said, well, I'm more comfortable writing than screenwriting, but it really does feel like it could have been a movie too. Janet, talk to me a little bit about, you know, when you knew that. Actually, well, Janet, are you? No, let's try and do the interview just like this. Maybe if you can just move the camera, Tony, a little bit more toward your mom. There we go. Good. Very nice. Can you just speak to me a little bit about, you know, when Tony started writing and when you saw that he had a gift for words on paper?
Well, he's actually been writing most of his life. When he was in elementary school, writing was a major component in the curriculum, and they had to write every single day. He started getting into more creative stuff, I would say, in high school when he started writing poetry. And he actually won a prize. It was a DC citywide competition in poetry, and he won one of the prizes one year. And of course, then he went off to college and wrote a lot of term papers and weekly assignments and reactions to meetings, etc. He started working on the book. I forget whether he was still in college or whether it was after college, but he'd work on it in spurts.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, Janet. Tony, would you mind? Is there a way that I can hear your mom a little better? Is it? I'm not sure if I'm. I guess maybe I'm hearing Janet through the computer, but if there's a way to either move toward closer to the computer, or how can we do it? I can hear you, but I just don't.
Yeah. I'm practically on top of it. I don't know that I can get any closer.
You are okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, if this is what we'll have, then that's what we have. So, I'm sorry. You were saying he started writing in college, or perhaps after college.
I he did some preliminary work on the book when he was in college, and really got serious at some point after college. And then he got into I'm writing a book mode, and would work on it just about every day and stay up later than he usually did. So it was an evolution.
And how did you feel about Tony writing about the details of your journey so personally?
Well, that was the only way he could do it. It's from his perspective. At one point, I had suggested maybe doing something where he would write a chapter and then I would write a chapter from my perspective, but that would have been a very long book. And I think he did a fine job with the material as it is. I wasn't worried about it.
You weren't worried that you were airing all your personal details?
There's nothing that he said that people don't already know, to the best of my knowledge. So more people know it now.
And more people can see what he went through, what you all went through as a family, and learn from it. You know, I mean, it's amazing that it was 20 years ago, 21 years ago, and how much things have really changed just in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
well, we're really proud of Tony and excited to feature him in this way and have more press for his book, etc. Can you speak a little bit, Janet, just about being proud of him?
Oh, yeah. Um, Tony has accomplished a great deal in his few years on this planet, and I am very proud of what he's accomplished. He went off to college and he did well, and then he went to graduate school and he did well, and he's about to go back and get his PhD. And the only thing I pushed him on was, "You're going to college, kid." But I'm very pleased with the volunteer work he's done. I'm pleased with the work that he's doing now, working with autistic children. I love that he still plays soccer, and he's basically a very nice person, and I'm very proud of him.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Oh, wonderful. Said it all right there. Well, Tony, I'd like to about just the speech we'd like you to make and our ideas for it, and then maybe you can get something written together. Or perhaps you've already started and have it, but I wanted to so we could start looking at a piece together.
No, that sounds great. I actually haven't started. I was definitely just wanted to have a conversation with you before I really started hammering down detail.
Yeah. It would just be, um, you know, the legal obstacles that you went through. I mean, I think we really only have about 3 minutes for you to speak, but I want you to be able to convey in that 3 minutes a sense of all the legal obstacles that your moms went through 20 years ago in their journey to adopt you, and the homophobia and essentially racism that they experienced along the way from the judges. And I would like you to make clear, was it New York, New Jersey, a mix of both?
Yes.
It would be good if you could clarify, you know, and how is it three? I mean, you mentioned that it was 3 judges, panel of 3. That seems kind of strange.
That's the
But
normal
I
way
guess that's what it
appeals
was.
go.
Is it? Okay. Well, let's just convey that. And then, you know, of course, we will get into the latter part of your speech with, you know, your decision to write and tell your story and the book. And, of course, we'll flash to the book on the screen and all that. But I think what's most important is, you know, your kind of journey in the foster care system and how what was good and what was really rough about it. Because this is a room filled with people who are same-sex parents and who many of whom have been through the foster care system and have their own journeys, which many of which are really tough also. And we just, you know, want to highlight your story as a way to show that the work isn't done yet. And hopefully it's not as bad these days as what your moms went through, but it's still challenging, especially in, you know, the more southern areas of the country.
Definitely.
So maybe after this, Tony, I'll just send you kind of an outline of what I was thinking about, and you can kind of take it from there.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and forth with drafts.
Okay.
Sound good?
It does. Thank you for outlining it already. I have a lot of ideas, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, good. Janet, thank you so much. Thanks for doing the interview. I'll let you know if it came through well. There's always a chance we had technical difficulties. We'll have to do the whole thing again. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Okay, well, Tony, we'll talk by email and phone really soon. I'm going to send you an outline now, so look for it in a few minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Bradley.
Thanks again,
Talk to
Janet.
you soon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, catch you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.